Mandy and I welcome you back to day 14 of 25 days of readings in Advent. Today we're going to read about how Mary and Elizabeth got to get together. And we have our two candles, the candle of hope and the candle of peace. This is the last day of the second week of Advent. We're halfway through. I hope you're enjoying these readings. Let's read about Mary and Elizabeth. We're reading Luke chapter 1, starting at verse 39. Mary visits Elizabeth. At that time, Mary got ready and hurried to a town in the hill country of Judea, where she entered Zechariah's home and greeted Elizabeth. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the baby leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. I think that's so exciting. Remember, Elizabeth is carrying John the Baptist, and when John the Baptist hears Mary's greeting, he leaps in Elizabeth's womb. I just love it. And then she's filled with the Holy Spirit. In a loud voice she exclaimed, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child you will bear. But why am I so favored that the mother of my Lord should come to me? As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who has believed that what the Lord has said to her will be accomplished." And I found this amazing commentary online that I'm going to read to you. The intimate conversation that follows portrays Jesus as more important than John. It also shows God already at work to overturn the world's structures and expectations. The spotlight shines on Mary and Elizabeth, two lowly and shamed ones, through whom God has chosen to begin the transformation of the world. Women, so overlooked or ignored in society at large in biblical narratives, have the only speaking roles in this vignette. Mary's first words prompt an immediate, silent response from Elizabeth's unborn child. John leaps, acknowledging both her presence and the significance of the child she carries in the womb. John's reaction to Mary's voice fulfills Gabriel's prophecy. Even before his birth, he will be filled with the Holy Spirit. Luke 1:15. Already John points to the coming one. Though Luke clearly signals that the unborn child's leaping is prompted by the Spirit, it is Elizabeth, John's mother, who takes on the role of prophet by speaking the prophetic word in this scene. She is filled with the Holy Spirit and proclaims what Mary has not yet told her, and what is not yet visible to the eye. Mary is pregnant. Furthermore, through the Spirit, she knows who Mary's child will be, for she calls Mary the mother of my Lord. Her prophecy will soon be fulfilled when her own son prepares the way for the Lord. These two women are privileged to be instruments of God's savings work and have been richly blessed. Mary is blessed not only for her status as the mother of the Lord, but also for her trust in God's promise. We might translate Elizabeth's word as, "Happy is she who believed." Mary is blessed because despite all expectations, her social status has been reversed. She will be honored rather than shamed for bearing this child. But she has also been blessed with divine joy because she has believed that God is able to do what God promises to do. When Elizabeth says, "Blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what was spoken to her by the Lord," she contrasts Mary's trust in God's power and promise with her own husband, Zechariah's skeptical questioning. Zechariah asked for proof that the angel's word was true. Mary asked for an explanation of what was going to happen to her, and then gave her willing consent. By greeting Mary with honor, Elizabeth overturned social expectations. Mary is an unmarried pregnant woman. She might expect social judgment, shame, even ostracism from her older kinswoman. Yet, Elizabeth knows from her own experience the cost of being shamed and excluded. In her culture, a woman's primary purpose in life was to bear children. So as an elderly, infertile wife, she has endured a lifetime of being treated as a failure. Her response to her miraculous pregnancy emphasizes that God's grace has reversed her social status. "This is what the Lord has done for me when He looked favorably on me and took away the disgrace that I have endured among my people." Luke 1:25. At long last, in her old age, she is an honorable married woman, pregnant with her husband's son. Elizabeth continues the pattern of social reversal by opening her arms and her home to a relative whom her neighbors would expect her to reject. Instead of shaming Mary, she welcomes, blesses, and celebrates her, treating her as more honorable than herself. Thus, the pregnancy that might have brought Mary shame brings joy and honor instead. When Elizabeth welcomes Mary, she practices the same kind of inclusive love that Jesus will show to prostitutes and sinners. She sees beyond the shamefulness of Mary's situation to the reality of God's love at work, even among those whom society rejects and excludes. Elizabeth's words and actions invite us to reflect on our own openness to the ways that God chooses to act in our world. What is God doing through unexpected people in our society today? Where is God at work through people whom our neighbors and fellow church members often exclude or treat as shameful? Will we listen to the Spirit's prompting when the bearers of God's new reality show up on our doorstep? May we, like Elizabeth and Mary, trust that God is coming to save and free us. May we, like them, give thanks that God has taken away our shame, then respond to God's love by welcoming the shameful. May we, like them, become a community that supports each other as we hope and wait. So many great things in there, so many great points. You know, both of these women were shamed by their culture, but they turned that around. And Elizabeth especially helped Mary. I just love how she helps her and blesses her and doesn't shame her. So I think we can learn a lot about that at Christmas time and all the time, that we need to include everybody. We don't know God's plan. We don't know how God's using that person. It may look like that person's doing something wrong. I mean, Mary was pregnant, but here she was, the most important woman on the face of the earth, going to give birth to the Son of God. So I hope that we can just be more open-minded, welcome people in around us, and just always look for God's hand and God's plan, because He's working in our hearts and lives and the lives of people around us. Wasn't that just amazing? I just love all that insight on Mary and Elizabeth. I hope you found a lot from that too, especially if you're a woman like me. A lot of times in the Bible, women aren't mentioned much, but here they get to go back and forth and talk and be excited, and just, they are helping fulfill the prophecy that was hundreds of years before that time. And these two women are bringing two men into the world that are just going to change the world forever. They had to have been so excited. So I hope you get some hope and joy from Mary and Elizabeth today. And I'm so glad that you've been with me again. And this is the end of week number 2 of Advent. But I hope you come back for week number 3. And I would love to answer any question you may have about Advent or the Christmas story, faith in Jesus, anything at all. Just contact me through my website, nancyjoytoyou.com. You can also email me at nancyjoytoyou@gmail.com. I hope these Advent readings just draw your heart closer to God as you read how He used ordinary people to accomplish an amazing story, coming down as God, being born as a baby, and living among us. Have a blessed Christmas.